Now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, traders. Welcome to the Bookmap Platform Details webinar. This is Bruce at Bookmap. A risk disclaimer: trading futures, equities, and digital currencies involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so what we're going to do today in the webinar is we're going to go through the bookmap.com website. Some of the resources here, go through where you can find them, and then look at some social media sites, how you can follow up with more information there as well, and then jump into Bookmap. Okay, please ask questions, anything regarding the platform or even about order flow. Now, these webinars, we go through the basics in some of the order flow and start to define what the components are that you're looking at on the Bookmap chart. So there is an advanced order flow live analysis webinar that starts at 11 Eastern following this webinar every day. However, that is for subscribers, and what we do there is, well, the software, it comes with education. So there's a 4-part educational course, and then every day we back up that course content with the live market analysis. Okay, and we start to anticipate future price movement based on our analysis in the order flow. Okay, so you can learn about Bookmap and learn about order flow, and then see it every day. Okay, so you'll know how to use it, and you'll be up and running with Bookmap. All right, that's the concept. So let's jump into the website quickly and scroll down here. There is a oops, wrong area here, a free or a very short intro video here. You might want to watch that, and then scroll down, information about Bookmap here, and Bookmap for equities. I'll talk about that in a second, and then come down to connectivity. So this is important because Bookmap is a software trading platform. Okay, we visualize order flow phenomena in a very unique way, but we're not a data provider. Okay, we're just like some of the other platforms that you can connect to here. Like you can see NinjaTrader, TTX Trader Pro, and Interactive Brokers Traders Workstation. However, we're a platform just like they are. So you can connect Bookmap directly using CQG, Rhythmic, Gain, IQ Feed, Transact Data, and Dev Experts. Okay, so this Dev Experts is for NASDAQ Total View and Last Sale, and that's for all US equities. So that's what I mentioned up here. Okay, it's a great data feed. It's going to get stronger as well shortly. So I still don't have a release date on that, but it will include EDGX as well as NASDAQ last trade and total view. Okay. All right, a bit further down, this is where you can subscribe and you can find Bookmap. Okay, you can subscribe yearly and you get a 20% discount, or you can subscribe monthly. There's a couple different versions here. There's digital and global. The digital version here is free. You get the data for free as well. It's only to the GDAX exchange for one digital currency. That's all you get. Okay, and it's a full version of Bookmap though, and you only get the basic education and limited support. Okay, the Digital Plus version, this one is live. The data is free. But you can record and replay your data. You can also trade right from the Bookmap chart into your GDAX account, and you get multiple instruments, up to 20 that you can display. You also get full support and the advanced education. The Bookmap Global version, now the distinction here between global and digital, global includes connectivity to futures and US equities. However, you will need to provide the data for the US equities or futures. Okay, now the Global Plus version includes everything as well as our proprietary add-on indicators. One is to trade right from the Bookmap chart, which is a really nice feature since you have the liquidity map in front of you. So you can hide your orders behind or your stops behind large liquidity, or you can front run large liquidity with your entries to try to guarantee a higher probability of a fill. Okay, so large lot tracker. Here's another indicator. It is specific to the order book. We identify larger players in that order book. And we have some imbalance indicators, and then we also have an iceberg detector. Again, this is looking for now specific players like the large lot tracker. We're looking for those that are using iceberg orders or hidden orders. So we can identify that. And then we have a correlation tracker, so you can have a bunch of different correlated markets plotted onto the Bookmap chart. Okay, all right, let's jump over to social media. And you can see here, well, you can register for the webinar here. There's another great resource here you might want to look into. There's 25 plus books and articles and all sorts of good stuff here. At bookmap_pro is our Twitter handle. And then you can also subscribe to us on YouTube. And this is our YouTube homepage. Just go through some of the playlists here. There's an intro playlist, a few of the intro videos, and then the features and components. Okay, so you can watch all the different components here or learn about them. And then these order flow video snippets. Now, this is content that we go through in detail in the advanced order flow webinar. But these videos are very short and concise. It's really how Bookmap visualizes and uncovers the order flow in a unique way. So I would recommend watching as many of these as you can. They're very short, and I think you'll find them really helpful. All right, well, let's jump into Bookmap here. And let me know if you have any questions. And we will address them. Okay. All right, so here's Bookmap. And I'm going to go through just the basics here in Bookmap. That's what we're going to start with. And then we'll just get more advanced. And I'm going to close up everything else that you see here on the chart. And we're just going to look at the 3 elements that are in this Bookmap chart. Okay, there's an add-on indicator here I want to get rid of. Okay, I want to get rid of the iceberg detector. Okay, all right, so when you're looking at this, you may think this looks like maybe a little daunting or overwhelming. It's actually really straightforward data, very, very objective, very, very clear. What you're looking at here in this Bookmap chart are just 3 elements on the chart. Okay, one is historical best bid and offer. The other are these volume dots. Okay, that's the volume that traded on that historical best bid and offer. And then the last element is the heat map that you see. This well, it starts off as orange as being the highest area of liquidity, then yellow, then white, then blue, and then black. Okay, all this heat map is a recording of the depth of market. Okay, so your dome, looking at your dome and all these numeric values, these are contracts here on the offer, and these are contracts here on the bid. We take that data, we turn it into a heat map in this live market window here with your best bid and offer. Okay, and so when you see the numbers change, you're going to see the heat map change. Now, where it gets really interesting, though, is we take that data graphically and project it onto the chart. So now you can understand the auction, the bids and the offers, where they're really interested in this auction to buy and sell. Look at the buying power down here. Well, it stopped, at least the selling that didn't come down further. Very, very high area of liquidity down here at 66. Okay, and you can see it absorbed all that selling and it bounced up. And where did it bounce up to? Well, it's testing higher liquidity up here at 70. And the buyers are not taking them on either. So we're coming right back down to test 66. Okay, so anyway, that's what the liquidity heat map is showing. Now let's just back up here a minute and we'll go through more of the live analysis. But let me define here, and I'll try to do this quickly because we defined it yesterday in detail. So we're going to just start with a blank chart here and look at a candlestick chart. Okay, here you go. And everyone knows this chart. We're all accustomed to it. 5-minute candlestick chart, open, high, low, and close of a 5-minute period. Okay. Now, all of that data, I mean, certainly the heat map is not on this chart. Okay, so there's one advantage right there, looking at Bookmap. The other advantages might be a little more difficult to, or a little more hidden, I should say. Well, the problem here with the candlestick chart is we're looking at a 5-minute period of aggregated data. Okay, it's only 4 data points here: open, high, low, and close. What happened within this candlestick is what we want to know. We want to understand the volume, exactly where it traded, when, how much, what was the speed of the moves. All of this kind of data is just completely opaque. We have no insight to it whatsoever. Okay, there's also microstructures in here, and we want to understand those microstructures. And to do that, this is what Bookmap, this is the first layer of data, is simply the historical best bid and offer. So now when you look at that, you can see here all sorts of microstructural areas. And what do I mean by that? Well, a little consolidation up here, okay? A little consolidation here, and then a break, okay? We come right back up to where we broke from here, as you can see the swing low, and test this area, and then it broke again here to the downside. Okay, so these areas we want to understand. We want to understand the volume on these areas. So let's turn on the volume dots and take a look. Now we're starting to understand who's in control in terms of the volume, who's lifting the offer, or hitting the bid on micro levels as well as more macro views. Okay, well, you can see this pretty big move to the downside here, several points, and just look at the red dots pulling that market down. They're hitting the bid, okay, and taking all the liquidity, and they continue to do that. And then we get a little bit of a bounce here, okay, right back up to this little cluster here that we noticed in that microstructure, okay, and we didn't find more buyers, okay. We rotated down again one more time here, and then, well, why did it stop here? Okay, I mean, we have no clue looking at this here. This is why the heat map can be so insightful, okay? Because out of the blue, like, well, something happened down here, right? And buyers started to step in here. As you can see, they broke this little microstructure and it accepted above that area. Now let's turn the candlestick off because it's just getting in the way. And you can see a little bit clearer now. Here, they lifted the offer, okay? And this little microstructure here, look how all the volume here accepted above it, okay? Maybe a tick or two down below, but it came right back up and we found more buyers, and we're testing this little high up here in this cluster of volume right now, okay? But take a look at this chart, and this is really, it's quite a nice display of volume because again, it's not aggregated data. And we can see the quickness of these moves, and we can see the microstructure. But why did price stop? Okay, it still doesn't. The volume just does not answer that question. Okay, it's the heat map that does. Okay, and there we go. This is why it stopped. High liquidity here, and it was completely absorbed by the buyers with their limit orders, and the sellers did not trade any further. Okay. Now let's zoom into this area here, and we can get the complete story of what occurred. Okay, this is what absorption looks like. Okay, now I've got all 3 elements now on this chart. Okay, we're doing a little differently than we usually do it, yeah, let me just take off. I'll take off the heat map to begin with here. Okay, so we understand what we're looking at. So these first 2 elements, historical best offer or ask is the red line, best bid is the green line. Okay, now all of these dots, what are they? Okay, this is volume. This is the aggressor, the aggressive market sell order. They crossed the spread and took liquidity off of the best bid. Okay, green is the opposite. These are buyers taking liquidity off of the best offer. It's just how the market works. Okay, now you'll see that there's quite a nice cluster of selling here. Okay, now if I zoom back out though, look how we take all of those smaller trades or transactions and just visually aggregate that into a bigger bubble here or sphere. So let's zoom back in though, and we start to pull apart the timeline, and we start to pull apart each individual trade, and we can continue to do that and continue to zoom in here, and you'll notice trades within trades. Okay, now this is a trade for a volume of 18, just one event that took place here. My trades counter over here and volume counter is telling me exactly that. I can also use this data tip tool and hover over here, and it's telling me very specific date and time. Okay, the time is down to the nanosecond, it looks like, and then the on the bid here, 522 contracts at 66, and this is for a volume of 18 at 66 here. Okay, so very, very specific data recorded very accurately. Okay, but we don't trade at those levels. Okay, so we can see exactly how it unfolded, but when we zoom back out, we need to get the overall shape and understanding of what occurred here, and this is it. So now we can see these two elements and exactly what's going on here. Okay, better than a footprint chart. Reason being is you can see every single event like this within a microstructure. Okay, you won't see a microstructure broken like this one here, broken as they swept the book higher. You won't see the speed of this either within a footprint chart. The reason being is because they aggregate it within a bar. Okay, it might be by time, it might be a bar rotation, doesn't matter. It's still aggregated data. Now we're starting to understand who's in control. We have a better picture of who's in control here. Buyers are. Okay, they're lifting that offer. Okay, they're accepted above this little microstructure, looking for more buyers over here and looking for more follow through. Okay, and you can see we got it. Anyway, now those are two elements here on that chart, and let's turn on that third element, that heat map. Okay, and now we have that a complete picture here of the order flow and really what's happening in this market. And this is a great example, okay, because this is absorbed. Okay, out of all of these contracts here, there was actually they bumped it up to over 1,072 contracts here. Okay, precisely 1,072, and you can see exactly what traded here. Okay, 672 is what traded. Okay, and you can see that they're eating away at that liquidity here, right? And you can see that they're actually starting to pull some of it as well. Okay, because otherwise they would have, I mean, not all of it traded for sure. We know that, but I guess, yeah, I guess this makes sense. So there's about 442 here, plus that 672, somewhere around 1,000 right there. Okay, so there you go. So this was totally absorbed, and then you see they actually came in with more liquidity. Okay. And the seller is still hit into it. They're still hitting the bid here. Okay, and we have at this point only 45 trade. Okay, 23 events for 45 volume, and then look what happened here. Okay, and these little areas here, there's no trading. Okay, completely absorbed. Right, and well, we start to rotate up and we start to find some buyers. Okay, so that's what occurred at this area, and we know that that's just all factual data. We get one more retest back into that area here. Okay, and what I'm doing here is making a very clear distinction so you understand what is going on with price and trading in the auction and the aggressor, and we are able to determine precisely what occurred here. We know this was absorbed, okay? And they absorb some more here, as you can see, okay? 477, okay, at this 66 level. Okay? Even more than that traded. Okay? And making a distinction, because a lot of traders will say, well, I don't really look at the DOM. I look at a few different things, but it's all fake liquidity anyway. And this is showing you it's not all fake liquidity. This is real liquidity. It traded, or it stayed here in the book, and people traded into it, and they were completely absorbed. Okay, that's what absorption looks like. Okay, now what does fake liquidity look like? Okay, well, let's come up to this area here. Yeah, I want to find a better example, because I mean we see it all the time. Yeah, okay, well, here we go. So this is more like fake liquidity. So these guys here, 575 contracts, we come up into it and they start pulling. They don't want to trade. Okay, so did they really have the intent? Well, they did back here, actually. There's no doubt about it, they did. It traded right into them and they stayed in the book. Okay, but then on this book sweep here, they got cold feet and they pulled. Okay, so that's what occurred. And then you can see they're up. Other traders up a couple ticks higher, and we trade into that, and they did stay here and started to absorb. Okay, but they also pulled a lot of that, and then we can see that the Victor here that was not totally absorbed because we trade higher and through it. All right, so making that distinction and understanding really what occurred at some of these areas. Okay, and this is the kind of analysis that we start to get into in the advanced order flow webinar. Okay, a book sweep right here. Okay, this is a pretty nice one. Just nothing but buyers stepped in here, and they swept the limit order book to the upside. They took all the liquidity at each price level as they continued to aggressively buy. It lifted price up out of this little microstructure right here. Okay, and then look at the retests here, 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 and here. Okay, we accepted above this area. Okay, we rotate back up when we find more buyers. Okay, and then they sweep the book here. Okay, and then look at the same structure here. Okay, this is just how the market works. This is very indicative of it. A book sweep takes a lot of buying to lift it up out of this range, and it accepts above this range here. And look at the retest right back to where it broke from right here many times. Okay, and then it did it once again here, as you can see. All right, and then that we're basically up to current price right now. Anyway. Yeah, hope you find that helpful. Those are the elements here in the Bookmap chart. There are quite a few others. We have a indicator panel that shows you the cumulative volume delta. A very simple indicator, but very powerful. And we have a host of all sorts of add-ons here as well. So we can, you saw the candlesticks, but we have a VWAP. We have that iceberg detector. We have our large lot tracker, which is this little white line here. Let's zoom in here, and maybe we can see it a little bit better. Yeah, I mean, we don't see too many right now. I could filter the large lot tracker to show more, but I think I just have it on the default right now. And what this little white line here means is that this much of liquidity from, I mean, this is a total of 491, right? And about a quarter of it is one individual actor that has about a quarter, like 125 contracts or so of the liquidity here at this 68 level. Okay. So that gives you all sorts of insights about where the larger players are. And then also, if they're going to pull that liquidity, it's going to skew that book pretty aggressively. And we want to know that, okay? Or if they pop into the book, and you'll see it all the time, okay? Like popping in here. It doesn't look like it was one individual actor here, but yeah, it would have shown up if it was. Now we're starting to see more liquidity coming into the market down here at 70. Okay, and yeah. So what happened there? Well, here we go. Here's our answer. Some of it was partially filled right here, but the majority of it looks like it pulled. Okay, so no intent to trade yet, and still being aggressive here on the offer. Okay. And we've been trending down here, but let's see if we can. Let's see if we get some buyers who might be interested in stepping in just a second here. Okay, maybe a little bit of a book skew, and target would be 72. I'm not looking for much here. Okay, there we go. A little pop right there. See the order book here. And then 72, now there's his intent to trade up here at 72. He's not interested. Okay, so if the buyers want to continue higher, they got to come up here. to 72 3/4. That's where the liquidity is. And look at them starting to pull as well. All right, any questions? All right, there we go. We're trading up at 72 3/4. Okay, and they pulled. Okay, now let's see if we can get maybe back up into just a little bit higher. Next level would, well, let's see if this guy's really means business here or not. He's not showing it yet, but 74.5 is certainly still staying in the book here. But this guy is showing some interest here at 73 3/4. All right. Well, let's see if there's no questions, then let's wrap it up here, and we will catch up with you guys on. Oh, let's see. Here's a question. Ben, you have interactive brokers. Can they execute trades? Well, interactive brokers, the data feed. I know that I would reach out to them if I were you and ask them. Basically, their data is packaged every like 500 milliseconds and then sent out as a package. Okay, so something like that from what I recall. Now that means that if you're really trading at very, very low time frames here in Bookmap, you're not going to be taking advantage of the Bookmap's precision and accuracy. All right, you can still use it and it connects no problem. Okay, now if you're more zoomed out and looking at kind of higher time frames, it'll might be okay for you. All right. Well, we don't recommend a broker, but we do recommend a data feed. Okay, and we do recommend Rhythmic. All right, we don't have, there's no sort of business dealing with them at all. It's just that we like there's three things. First and most important is we like the way that they display the data, or that they process the data. Okay, it's very accurate. It's more accurate than some of the others. Now, just some variations. Others are excellent as well. Okay, CQG, IQ feed, etc. But we just like the way that Rhythmic handles it a little bit better. Okay, number two is that Rhythmic offers two simultaneously connected platforms, okay, from the same machine, which is nice. So if you have another charting platform up, you can run Rhythmic on that platform as well as Bookmap. Okay, and then the last is, and this is my favorite, I think, is the full depth of market. Okay, so look at my order book here. Everything is live. These contracts up here, you'll see them change. Okay, and way down, if I zoom vertically, way down here, you'll see these contracts change down here. That's way further out than just 10 levels. Okay, that a lot of other data providers have. Yeah, Kimberly, I heard that too. I actually reached out to Jonathan at Rhythmic and asked about that, and he wrote me back and said, "Look, give me some more insight on this. Like, that's broker specific. So, I would, if I were you, like, I would reach out to Rhythmic or your broker and say, well, why are you changing this? I don't like that. I want it back to the way I had it before. Is this a new policy, etc.? And then bring it to Jonathan's attention or out at Rhythmic's customer service there. All right. Yeah. That it was that was the insight that I got. Okay. Ben, let's see here. Is it separate payment for data feed? Yes, it is. We're not a data provider. We're just a software platform, visualization, trading platform. Okay. Brent, there's a number of FCMs out there that offer Rhythmic. Okay. You'll see a lot of our partners on our website as well. Okay, that offer Rhythmic. All right. So yeah, just ask them. There's no one in particular, but ask them, and then we'll if they provide it, and then that should do the trick. All right, guys, I got to jump to the next webinar. So see you there, or we'll catch up tomorrow, same time, same place. All right, take care. Bye-bye.